Solution to bland food. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably crying out for some tips and tricks. Sauces come in a few different forms, and moving away from bland food is key when you're looking at long term. If you've been utilizing sauces before you started the diet, and then you've gone to bland food, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to adhere to. It may be the texture, it may be the spices, it may be the seasoning, it may be the flavor of the things that you're making. But you have to make the best of the situation. You have to understand that calories are king for your fat loss, but you also have to understand probably the foods that you're eating beforehand in terms of the sauces, the way that they were doing, whether they were in oils or whether they were jar-made sauces, are going to be not too conducive to controlling your calorie intake, especially if you're having them on a day-to-day basis. So what I would recommend to make really, really easy sauces that comply with calories is that if you have a vegetable intake with each one of your meals, so for example 150 or 200 grams of vegetables per meal, I would recommend that you take 50 of those grams of vegetables and put that as chopped tomatoes. That way you can have, or canned chopped tomatoes, and that way you can have the sauce as that chopped tomato, and you start the basis of your sauce from that means. That means you don't need to add any oils. It means that you have a liquid form that you can use as a base. You can add seasoning to that liquid tinned tomatoes, and then you can cook your food in it, or you can drizzle it over the top, whatever you prefer. But that would make a really, really easy sauce. Now, moving away from what you've been doing before will be a tough thing. It will be habitually, and it will be environmental, that you feel that this is not natural to how it was before. But you're in this business for a lifestyle, and you're in this business for something that will keep you in shape long term, and wanting to make the best and manage your calories as effectively as possible. The jar stuff, the jar sauces, the high level of oil sauces, and the ones that with coconut milk or coconut oil are going to be the ones that you will have to work within your calories. There's no room to say no to these foods. You just have to be creative within your calorie allowance and be able to track that food, because it does matter. In the long term, when you have enough calories and you're not worrying about 100 calories here or 100 calories there, you can afford to have these sauces as part of your meal prep, and you can enjoy the jar of Domino's, or making your own with oils in is absolutely perfect. But when you're first making that switch and you go from one end of the spectrum to the other, do expect to feel different. Do expect to feel that this is different. It's not too as tasty as it was before, but you will need to find your own spin on things. And what I say to people is that there's one or two things that you can do. Just get better cooking, or get better with monitoring your calories. And if you can do both, and you can fit the food in that you like, and you get better at cooking with the condiments that are relatively lower calories, you will have a really good outcome when it comes to tasty food. If you're frying food at the moment, bake it. If you're baking foods or you're steaming things, try frying it, try air frying it. The kitchen is such a wonderful place to create lots of different ways to do things, and ultimately find the way that you like to do things. So you have to try different things in order for you to know if you like it or not. So if you're not great at cooking, or you're letting someone else do the cooking, take ownership there and go and try a few different ways of cooking things, so you know if you like being baked chicken, or you like fried chicken, or you like air fried tofu. Whatever it is that you have to try to make it better. So if you're struggling with the bland food, you've got an option for sauce there, really low calorie. You've got a way to get the bigger calorie Domino sauces in by tracking your calories and adding them to your meal prep. And then thirdly, just get better with your kitchen utensils, get better with cooking, so that you don't have the bland, not tasty food, because ultimately you can make a really, really basic food taste amazing when done properly.